Welcome, exiles! Today I finally present to you one with nothing Cyclone Berserker. Now, you've been following along quite a bit for this on streams. I'm really happy with how many people are watching, and it's so much fun to talk to you guys and to play Path of Exile. You guys are awesome. So, we finally have something that I can share. I really was hesitant of sharing my POB that I played on stream because it was garbage. This POB is functional, it works, it can be used for endgame content. You can do bosses, you can do delving, you can do everything with it, but it's not perfect yet. That is why this build version is 0.1. Count this as an alpha or beta version or something like that. If this was like a program, it's not finished. When I make it better, we'll call it 1.0 when I'm happy with it. But at the moment, it's just like an alpha version. Count it as that. So, we're going to take a look at everything, but before we do so, if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing, turning on notifications and all that good stuff. And with that out of the way, let's first jump into the Path of Building, because Path of Building has impale calculations and I cannot really show you the exact damage in-game, because even though if we take a look at the inventory damage, that's really not representative of the actual damage that we're doing. If you're looking at just that number, you're doing it wrong, because impales do so much more damage and you're going to make a huge mistake if you just look at that damage in game. So with that, let's go into Path of Building. I just want to note that we are using the community version of Path of Building, and if you're using it too and haven't updated it in a while, please do so. Check for updates, because we finally have support for split personality jewels. They are calculating correctly now, which is really awesome. So I don't have to fake it anymore, which is a huge relief, because I was getting at least few comments that were asking what are fake jewels doing and why you cannot buy them in trade sites because they don't exist. They were split personalities, but they had to be faked. Now you know what it is. You can buy it on a trade site, and and I will be happy like not getting those comments. So it's really cool. I have to update the gladiator too, and I will do that next after this video. So what do we have? We have spaghetti again. I don't know how to make one with nothing build without making a spaghetti out of the skill tree. It's impossible. I simply have to include split personalities in my build. I'm like addicted to them. I don't know how to get more dexterity any other way. The brutal restraint is ridiculous, but I keep rolling it and throwing money at it, but it's not going to give me as much dexterity as it's giving to other people. I've seen people get 300 dexterity out of their brutal restraint, but the most I got out of it was 120, 30, something like that. Maybe 150 is like the max that I managed to get out of it. It's really good jewel, but you have to roll it like crazy. So if you don't wanna roll, and I will explain how brutals work, but if you don't wanna use it, if it's expensive for you, use fluid motion jewel, which is going to transform the strength node and like few strength nodes into the dexterity nodes. Now in that case you don't really have to grab these resists here, because I'm getting these resists because they are adding me 5% more dex there, but that is something that I have to show you in game. I cannot show you everything in POB. So let's kind of go over like of basics. We have close to 10 million damage. It's not like still 10 million damage. I don't think I have Frenzy Zone. I have Frenzy Zone. We have to add Blood Rage for that to be viable, and I plan to add Blood Rage soon to test it out. I didn't have it today, but that would be, I think actually I don't think we added Blood Rage. I still need ring with a slot to be able to add Blood Rage. So I haven't really added, but if we were to add Blood Rage, let's say we make a new category which is going to be one of our rings. I don't have a ring yet, but Blood Rage, which is going to give you even more damage, and I will probably add this tonight on a stream if I make a ring with socket or buy it, I don't know. But you can add Blood Rage. I just thought of this while recording the video, so let's add it there. It's not like if you don't have a slot to add it. I have one ring with Pride. Pride is more important than Blood Rage. First I'd add Pride, but if you don't have like 2 unset rings, then it's like this. Blood Rage is like not like important as much. It's going to give you additional damage, frenzies, and everything. So we have 10 million damage, but I don't have it in game actually. And I'm going to probably push it even more in day or two, so it's going to go up to maybe 15 million damage in the end without some crazy investments. Okay, so we kind of sorted that out really quickly. This is the configuration if you wanted to see it. We have rage almost all the time, that's why it's on 50. We have endurance charges all the time. We are war crying all the time, so that is on. Infusion is on, and we are calculating in blood stance. You might switch to sand stance in some instances if you think it's warranted. If there are lots of small monsters, blinding them and maiming them at the same time is really good. So sand stance can be useful, but blood stance is going to be your go-to this time around. Like when we were gladiator, we were using sand stance in the mapping because you get challenger charges that way, but for this build you want to stay in blood stance most of the time. The skill tree is not finished yet. We have another 8 points, probably 5. I'm not sure when I'm going to push it to level 100, but I want to push it to level 100. So another 5 points that we can spend somewhere, and I'm like not 100% sure where would I spend them. If you want to like spend it like really quickly, you could like get 7k life if you wanted to like get extra survivability, because we have so much flat life that you could do that. But most likely we are going to grab this cluster jewel too to get another like mob mentality and this going on. So the build works. We are berserker. What nodes we are getting, the most important ones are actually war cries, warbringer, recovering 25% life and mana every time when you war cry, increased duration, we don't care, increased war cry cooldown recovery is ridiculous. This means we are going to war cry every second. So every second you're generating 25% of your life and mana, and endurance charges are also going to give you additional, like enduring cry is going to give you additional recovery, so you get like 1k recovery, maybe 1.2k recovery from endurance charges and war crying, and then you get, depending on how much life you have, you generate 25% of that additionally. So you're going to recover around 3k life probably per second. So mining is really good with this character. So if you're kind of leveling, this is like the first thing that you're getting, war cries. Then you wanna maybe get aspect of carnage because it gives a lot of damage, but more likely than not you're going to go into rage and grab Rite of Ruin. That way you can sustain your berserk even longer. But this is like, get this one as a first one. Other like this stuff, it's going to add you more damage. It doesn't matter like if in which order you get it, but first Ascendancy, get Warbringer. That way if you're leveling you can sustain your life and mana and like bless through like all the acts with one with nothing. You then don't care about mana, don't care about life, you're one-shotting everything with one with nothing either way. So like first Ascendancy, do that, and then wait till like you finished all the acts and then do other Ascendancies really quickly. with like the skill tree, we are starting here grabbing life. There is like nothing that important, we're just grabbing life along the way and making as longest travel path as we can. Grabbing brown jewel with corrupted blood cannot be inflicted on you. Corrupted blood is like all over the place. I don't think since we are not leeching, it's not like that important for us here, but I'm not sure. Like, corrupted blood should be removed by anti-curse flask, but I've seen it pop out and like be there either way. It's I cannot play a build without this, because I'm not 100% sure if I need it all the time in every build, but like, just add it there so you don't have to worry about one more thing and like getting one-shotted by corrupted blood. One-shotted, but really fast burn down. Like, your health goes down and you're gone. So that's why we're getting that corrupted blood. Then we go through here, and I grabbed one regular jewel with as much dexterity as I can get, and maximum life. Increased damage with one-hander is useless, so I just grabbed the cheapest one that I could find that had 7% max life. That's maximum that you can get, by the way, and dexterity, maximum dexterity that I could get out of it without spending too much currency on it. This was like, I don't know, 2 chaos maybe. It was really cheap. So we go through here. Now I decided to anoint these because this increased cooldown recovery 10% is really like not great. Work cry duration is completely useless because we are work crying all the time, and that's why I anointed it to skip through these nodes and kind of get 3 additional skill points that I can use somewhere else. I know it's kind of along the way, but I decided to kind of get 3 additional skill points to spend somewhere else. Going through here, this is pretty standard. Like, these nodes here are really good. You have 2 melee strike range, increased fees. This is all good. You get max life evasion, max life. You get, this is like really good node. Art of Gladiator, almost any melee build will wanna take this one, because ignore all movement penalties for armor is ridiculous. Getting 20 dex from it is even more good for us, so additional movement speed and some dexterity. Now I usually go through dervishes usually, but if I go through there, I cannot, it's going to connect to this thing and we cannot like bring it back any. I could kind of go through dervishes, then here, then go back up here, but it's not going to work out. I cannot get that, and it's not like really that crazy. And I don't care about block this time around because we are not playing as gladiator, and block on berserker is not going to be great because we cannot get spell block at the same time, and it's not like I would like to have block on berserker, but I cannot figure out how to add it. There is like glancing blows, keystone that you could do like double your block, but then we have to figure out how to actually get the base block up to like 30-40% for that to actually make sense. So block on berserker is a no-go. Going through here, grabbing some life here, pretty standard. Grabbing percent dex, grab this life. I usually don't grab that life, but I couldn't get any life anywhere else basically, so I decided to opt for this. These are basically, each node here is actually worth 5.5% because you're going through 4% nodes to grab this one, so it's not like that good. If you were going through this side and grabbing it from that, then it's kind of better, but from this side is not great. I would even like consider going like this, like taking out these 2 nodes and just going like this, grabbing additional dexterity and like taking this out. That doesn't give you as much life, but you would get a bit more damage that way. Like bit more. It's not like great. That's why I kind of went through there. Then we're getting to our first cluster jewel. most of the cluster jewels you will want deep cuts on it and vicious curing. They're both for impales. They give you impale chance and +1 to impales. Basically impales you inflict last 1 additional hit, and that is really good. And there are not that many places where you can get them. There is a Watcher's Eye with +2, but it's ridiculously expensive if there was like no cap on money that I put on myself, and I don't want to get any item that is more expensive, like 20x or 30x per item. That's way too big of an investment on one item, I think, and not a lot of people are going to get to that point. That's why we're getting these cluster jewels that are easily craftable. To craft them you just need like maybe the base is 1 chaos. To roll them it's maybe 3 chaos, and you need to roll it like 3-4 times and you will get it. So under like 15 chaos you can craft it, and I will publish a video on how I crafted these things. So those 2 things, and then you want to smite the weak if you can get it. If not, who cares? Like this is perfectly fine. Then we go into war cries finally. War cries, the most important thing is mob mentality. This is going to give you 5 rage whenever you war cry, not to you, but to you and your party members. So if you're playing with somebody else, if you're both playing this build, you're going to sustain your rage like for not indefinitely, but you're going to sustain your rage like really easily, because let's say I have like, how many I have? 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 20 rage per my war cry. That's 20 rage per second basically, because I'm war crying every second. If there are 2 people war crying at the same time, you would get 40 rage every second. If there was like a 3rd member in your group and he was war crying, I think you could sustain Berserk all the time, because you're going to all war cry at the same time. It's not going to be indefinite, because Berserk is going to lose more and more rage every second, so at some point it's going to go down. But sustaining Berserk here is like really easily done. Berserk is not supposed to be sustained that long in any build, but hey, we can stack war cry jewels and we can do that. So mob mentality, most important one. You want to have war cry jewel with mob mentality plus something, but mob mentality on every jewel. Second thing is that you want to have, I have it probably here, Cry Wolf. Cry Wolf says war cries count as having 10 additional nearby enemies. This means if you war cry and there are no enemies around you, it's still going to work. And this is mainly for bossing, because there are no enemies, there is just one boss, so it doesn't work. But with this it works. So you want 1 Cry Wolf. You might also want to have 1 Haunting Shout. It's not like that important, but it makes enemies intimidated and unnerved, and they're going to take more damage. So it's a good thing. It's going to give you additional damage. Then every other warcry jewel that you're going to get is going to be mob mentality and lead by example. Lead by example is going to give you 4% additional physical damage reduction if you work right. You are warcrying, and 4% chance to deal double damage. So that is like the next tier of jewel that you want to get. If you were playing some other build that's not one with nothing, you would probably get crits. But here we are getting getting lead by example, which is really good. So that is like sorted. This is like the same. You have vicious curing, deep cuts, and the jewels are all the same. You're going through here and getting like additional life, and I got 1 more split personality here. So we have in total 1, 2, 3, 4 splits. You could even throw split personality in here if you don't want to use brutal restraint, or as I said, fluid motion. So that's kind of totally up to you. If you want to get more life, you would probably throw in split personality even in here. But later on we want to go up here and grab this jewel socket here too, but from down here, so we have more travel. Probably like cut this and throw it in here and add a cluster there, but this might not happen like that because I might change something in a skill tree and it might not look like this in a few days, but this is completely functional. You get 10 million damage, you get 6 point something life. The survivability is there because you have endurance charges, which reduces physical damage and give you additional resist, so you can focus on getting more dexterity on gear and boosting your damage even further, because you can see my resist are overkept, so I could remove for instance cloth and chain and still be kept. This time I'm unkept, but I could grab this and be kept again, and then that way I get additional physical damage reduction for endurance charges, and this is actually going to give me additional regeneration, not by a lot, but additional regeneration. So you could do something like that, but I'm not doing that because on this cloth and chain I'm having 5% dexterity, and that is the only thing that I actually have to show you in game. I know that a lot of people are going to ask me this, but bandits, for you want to get 2 skill points, it's like no brainer because we need so much skill points. And for pantheons, I haven't selected them here, but you want let me see, I think it's Solaris. 6 additional physical damage reduction, while there is only one. No, Lunaris. 1 physical damage reduction for each enemy and nearby enemy up to 8. Increased movement, that is the one that you want to get. Maybe on bosses you want to switch it to Solaris if you want to, but I'm way too lazy, so I keep it on Lunaris all the time. And for Minor Guard you want, no, that one, Shakari. I think it's Shakari, yes. You want Shakari for immunity to poison. I haven't put that in yet, but yeah. I should really add that to my forum posts because this comes way too often as a question. But I have Pantheon selected on my gladiator POE too, but I guess you don't like know that it's there, I guess. So yeah, like I got few comments that ask that, and few people actually whispered me in game, ask me what pantheons that there should be using. So it's Lunaris and Shakari. We got that out of the way. Let's jump into the game. So the only thing that I want to show you in game is Brutal Restraint and how it works. Brutal Restraint is a timeless rule. You can only have one, that is, this thing says limited to 1 historic. That means you can have only one timeless rule, not like only one brutal restraint, but only one timeless rule regardless which one is it. So you can't like stack these, so you just know, like, you get crazy idea, oh, I'm going to throw in one here. No, you are just getting one of those because they're really powerful. So as you can see, if I remove this, I lose around 200 dex, which is a really nice number. That is why I'm using it. And what this thing is doing, as you can see when I remove it, here it doesn't have like that additional 20 dex under. So this Brutal Restraint is giving me 20 dex here. It's giving me 4 dex on each node here. If I was going through here, it would give me 4 dex through everywhere. But we're not going through there because we want to get like longer travel path. And here it also gives 20 dex, that's why I grabbed these endurance charges here. It gives me 4% life here, which is really good. Give me 5% dex here, and I could actually grab these frenzies here for 20 cold res, for instance, and get 4 dex if I go through here. So it's really, really good. You have this spot here is like insane. You have so many places for it to roll something good. You even roll like in here if you get lucky. So how does this work? You need divine orbs. You divine it and throw it in and see what you got, basically. Every time you reroll the stat, you reroll like the seed of like RNG where it's going to be, and it can roll to plus 20 dex or 5% dex on any of these nodes, but you would only consider getting it on here. If it's like here, you don't get anything out of it because it's while holding shield. This is for like for two-handers, so you're not getting anything out of it besides like 5% dex or 20 dex, so those nodes are completely useless. So yeah, like if it rolls here, 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 and can roll here and here, so you have those spots to check if they rolled dexterity. What I do usually, I take all of these nodes, I take that node, that node, that node, this node, and this node, I put all of them in, and then I roll my brutal restraint and I put it in, and I look at my dexterity and see what I got. By the way, I'm rolling this thing almost all the time on the stream, so if you want to see how it's rolled and you're still like not being able to figure it out, please come stop by stream and I will show you like that in action. But this is like for really min-maxing, and you're going to spend way too much money on this thing. I already spent more than 5 exiles on it, maybe even more. So, and I still haven't gotten anything that's that great, but I know that people got something like when they remove it and put it in, they get 300x. So, few people told me that they managed to roll it like that. They were lucky, I'm not that lucky, I guess. And you can also roll it here. So, you get these things, you get this thing, you get this thing, you get all of these that can roll, and they're somewhat useful too. And then you roll it with Divine, throw it in, see how much this dexterity is giving, pull it back, put it back in. I usually have 2 of them, so I have 1 more here, but unfortunately I don't have any divines because I wasted all of them on the last stream, so I cannot really show you. But I have 1 more, and I'm rolling this one. That one that I have is somewhat good. I roll this one, see if it's better, and then I like swap them around. Which one is better, I use that one. So that's how that works. Either way, like this is all that I had to say on like this. You can find the POE in the description. We are going to update it more pretty soon. Once I have something that's a bit more final, I will make something that's more of a like build guide and not like this rambly mess that I made today. But you have something to play around with. If you have some questions, stop by when I'm live streaming so you can ask them. I'm happy to answer them. You can also post a comment in this video and I will answer it there, but if you want like instant response, then the live stream is the best place for that. Anyways, this is all. Thank you for watching and see you in the next one.